Welcome back to Yield Today with Dallin Candland. I'm here with Bas Lebesque. He was on episode 86. We're having him back on, and he's a executive life coach, helps people bring balance to their lives, and just a just a blessing for people. Man, I'm excited to have him back on. Thank you for coming, Bas.
It's really my pleasure to be back, Dylan.
Yeah, so let's kind of dive into the alignment piece because I feel like for me that's something that's kind of happened is there's like this greater alignment. And when we talked last time is I didn't realize it, but all my words were great, but my actions weren't really aligning, and so I kind of fell off track a little bit. And there's this internship I had that was great, and I was kind of felt like I was more in it for the status and everything, and so I kind of fell off a little bit. And so by the time I graduated from college, it was like, where the world is down now. But yeah, it's just now I feel pretty aligned. So like, well, what is the importance of alignment? How do you bring that to your clients? How do you teach them that?
Well, there's a few there's a yeah, how should I, well, I was just talking to a client earlier today actually, and you know, people think it's like a straight line up, or it's like that's an alignment or something, but it's like up and down, and that really when you when you allow yourself that you will be in the valley, let's say at times, then the, what I notice is that people that the valley is not as deep as it normally is, and it's also not as long or as wide as it could be. So people, they recognize like faster that they're in like in a down spiral, or that they're not um, in a growth trajectory, or however you want to call it, and then they just catch themselves very quickly. And also it's 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 okay to be in that place, because with this guy, like the previous session I did with him, he was complaining, and there was like no end to his complaining. um and he was really resisting it as well. And it's like, it's really good that you're complaining, because now you know what you're resisting, and the only way out is through. It's not really like we try to go around it, or be wishy-washy about it. It's like, no, it's a clear complaint. Something is not working in your relationship, something is not working in your company, something is not working in your leadership. Is that okay? You can only know what it is through the complaint. Um, so if you, yeah, how should I say, if you can get that aligned, then you're ahead of yourself. And little by little, you make let's say, your comfort zone bigger and bigger. Because every time you bump your head against the wall of your comfort zone, it feels like it is a complaint. So it's really so with a lot of my clients, I get them first to accept that that's just what it is, and it's nothing else. And it's most of the time it's also just a story. And then once you recognize that is what it is, you can move out, or you can move through.
Yeah, it's cool. I think a lot of it does come back to the story of like, what am I teaching myself? What am I telling myself? And then how am I aligning with that story? How am I serving that story? And is that story serving me? Because there's times where people are ready to make that change. Like, okay, this story's not serving me anymore. Like, this is not helpful to like pull back into the past and be like, hey, this happened to me. It's like, yes, that happened, but what's the story that you want to write now? So that's cool that you're helping them with that. And I think the complaint thing is interesting because it is a legitimate thing, and it's like, okay, now we can take this, we can use this. This is not worthless feedback.
No, absolutely. And I mean, if I can give you an example of myself, I I like 10 years ago, I did a burpee challenge, like a burpee mile where you do a burpee and a frog jump, and then you do that for a mile long. And then I was doing that with a friend, and we were alternating. So I did half of the mile, and he did the other half. But ever since that moment, I've been thinking about doing 1,000 burpees in one go. And it's really like it's been on my mind, and I'm like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. It's too much effort. And it's like this story or like complaint is like same thing. And then, you know, like instead of like it was this story kept playing in my head for the last 10 years. And now I finally said, okay, I'm going to do it on July 1st. And I've been training ever since. I do 400 burpees every other day. Um, and I mean, it's crazy, but it's, and there's a lot of stories and complaints as well. It's like I have to do it when I travel. So I was in Morocco last week. It's hot, it was humid, it was in a basement, it was not a fancy gym like I have here, no air conditioning. But it's like, no, I committed to this, and these are all like complaints, and they will all help me. Um, yeah, develop myself and get to my goal on July 1st. And I could say, okay, I'm on a holiday for a week. I'll postpone it. I'll do it the 8th of July, or I'll do it the 15th of July. But no, it's not what I said. So it's like really like bringing yourself back like every single time to your commitment, your agreement, your promise, your whatever you are set out to do uh, in your life, in your relationship, in your business, in your career, in your sport, in your health. It's like keep bringing yourself back and get yourself in alignment with, yeah, okay, am I going to the gym and break a record every week? No, of course not. But it is really about showing up also when no one else is watching.
Yeah, I think it.
So
No, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, that's a little story of myself.
That's cool. Yeah, I love how we can change how we're perceived and how we're seen, like by doing some kind of challenge like that and then going through with it. And anything that gets us closer to that is a win, you know? And so when I have been in this like bouncing back journey of sorts, getting more in alignment with myself, it was doing more of these activities that I know really helped me grow and saying this is a win no matter what, like literally running down the street or whatever, like that's a win because it's getting me closer. And so then it makes all of those other ones that are maybe like bigger, like farther or harder or stronger, like it makes those giant wins, you know. And it's like, but we love all of them. And I think having some clear vision of at least what you want to shoot for the time being is beautiful. And that's something I kind of struggled with this internship that I had. I mean, it was really good for me. I'm really thankful for it. But my vision when I started it was like, okay, I'm gonna break sales records. I'm going to place more demos than anybody else, and that was useful and it made me want to be better. But then when I realized I maybe wasn't going to hit that, I took it at myself. And so
Mhm.
how do you interrupt that like self-talk that happens when maybe the goal is starting to fall apart?
Same thing, you're not unique. But I'm also not unique. Or it's kind of like human nature, where we love negative self-talk. We're addicted to it, and it's like it's also not something that how should I say, uh you cannot even compensate it with positive self-talk, because we are so wired to go back to that negative self-talk all the time. Um, so it's also that is like, okay, it's just a thought, or it's just like and just like treat it as such, and then don't engage with it. Don't uh, Yeah, you just don't engage with it. And really, and it's also like, if you, how should I, you're exactly where you are supposed to be, and when we look at other people, and usually then we look up, like, that they got there easier, that they don't have any struggles that you have, they don't have any pain, they don't have any insecurity, they don't have that, which is like absolute nonsense. They have exactly the same talk as you do. Maybe they're not, maybe they have more money, maybe they have a better partner, maybe they have a better job, but they're still like, they still have their worries, and they still have curveballs in life, and they still have to deal with themselves. So it is really, um if you can center yourself on where you are and accept that that is where you are, um, then it's also, um, you also know a way out. I read this thing. It's like, if you if you if you can ask the question, you already have the answer. Like, you cannot ask a question if there is no answer. So if you like, you know, let's say you say there's no way out for me, or like, I cannot get out of this. It's like, you have the question, so you can ask the question, so you will have an answer if you're willing to look. There's no is there a way out? Yeah, there is. Maybe it's as simple as going through the door, but maybe you need to talk to that person, or you need to register yourself into whatever event, course, anything, and then you'll get a way out. um yeah, does that
Love
answer your
that.
question?
Yeah. It gives me some good things to play with. So I think of this one like picture that I saw on my 2 year mission trip. And it's crazy the things that will just like stand out in your memory that come to mind when you're having these kind of conversations. And I remember seeing this picture of this lady, and she had like all these like angels around her or something like that kind of thing. And in the caption said, "She will find what she is looking for." And
Yes.
that just like hit me. It's like, whoa, it's like that's true though, because like whatever the thing is she's looking for, she's going to find it eventually, because that's the nature of the human spirit, is it's so unquenchable in so many ways. And it's like, I will look for this and I will find it. I will find a way to make it happen. And that's so beautiful when you start turning that to your benefit. And it does take time. But for me these days, when I do find myself have some kind of negative thought come to mind, I'm like, well, great job. I'm glad we can still think those, but we're not accepting that anymore. Like that's just not worth it. That's like, I think a big part of it that shifted my conversation with it is understanding that, think whatever you want about it, but like for me, a lot of my thoughts do feel like legit energy. And so like I want to have like thoughts that are pushing me in a good direction, as opposed to thoughts that are like holding me back or whatever. And I've spent so much time in those thoughts or feeling consumed by them. And a lot of the times, like I'll go on a really good run, especially these days, or I'll juggle for a bit, and I'm like, they kind of get silenced. It's sort of like you have like haters in the crowd or something, and then you silence them. It's like, hey, chill out. It's like this is not your place.
No, exactly. And um what I wanted I wanted to say something, and now it slipped my mind. um you were talking about, oh yeah, you will find what you're looking for. You, like, in this conversation. I mean, it's a fun conversation, but if I want to, like, look for, I can't get this, I can't get my message across, or like, then I will. I will find that, and I kind of will create it along along the way. But it's just like it's really like a mindset. If you're in that mindset, that I can't get my message across. Okay, take a step back. Is what do I want to do here? I want to be a contribution. I want to look for a connection. And then if you look for that gets created while you look for it, and you can create. Like, I mean, if you want to pick a fight with someone, it's not a problem. You can pick a fight with any time, any moment, any person in your life. It's like whether it's your brother, your mother, your father, your partner, it's like, I want to have a fight. Okay, you'll have a fight immediately, and you can do exactly the same thing even while you're in a fight. You can be like, okay, I want to look for something, like, what can we get out of this fight, or do you choose to stay on your roller coaster, or on your thoughts, or in let's say your limiting space, or like, you want to dominate, or you want to be dominated. It's all the same thing, you know but if you look for, I'm being dominated here. Okay, that's what you will find. If you want to be like, I want to be solving this conflict, then that's what you will find, and you will solve the conflict. And it's just like, it's really just a mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, the magic of thinking big.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was talking to this other client, 2 days ago, and she's in this, she feels that she's betrayed by her boss, and so she's going to be removed from the company, and she's going to go into another company. And I was like, so what are you going to take away from this? And it was immediately like, oh, in my next role, I'm going to do this and this and this to protect myself, that I'm not going to be betrayed. It's like, you don't even know who your boss is going to be, and you've already putting all these things in place for yourself, that person will not betray you. You have no idea who this person is. You haven't even given them the chance. They might be your biggest contribution, and you're already decided that you're just going to show 80% of yourself. Because if you're going to show 100% of yourself, or whatever other percentage, then these people are going to betray you. And that's really like, and that's like, and she's quite early in her career, but if that like stacks on each other. I mean, if like something else happens, in 10, 15 years, she's showing 20% of herself, or 20% of her capabilities, which is like such a waste. But that comes from this place of like fear, vulnerabilities, like I need to protect myself, where by looking for protection, you are protecting yourself, but your world and your comfort zone is going to get a lot smaller, and that's exactly the opposite of what you want.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, and so I graduated from college last year, and
Yeah,
just didn't like job fell through that I had, and I was kind of bummed out. And I did have a couple plans, but I was kind of interested in doing some cold plunges, and found these guys on LinkedIn that were doing cold plunges, and I did a couple in Utah, and it was amazing because it's like you get in the water, and like you know about this because you've done some
yeah,
polar plunges way colder, and it's like you can't do anything. So it's like we'll just hang out here and chill, and those really were therapeutic for me because it's like we can't change anything about this, and yet we can affect how much fun we have. Like I was talking with the guys, we were talking about things they were learning in their lives, and I was like, this is great, we're just having a good time, enjoying it. And at the same time, you can also like flap your arms like crazy. It's like, get me out of here, blah blah blah. And like that isn't going to help you at all.
no, no, it's just a surrender to the cold. I love it. And I mean, I don't know how you do you experience cold, or do you experience pain?
I think it's a little bit of the first one and then more of the
Uh-huh.
second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like super cold. It was probably like 40 outside and the water was probably like around like 50 or something. So it was pretty cold,
Okay.
but not like what you've done. Like I saw this video of you literally being in like ice and I haven't done that quite yet, but I definitely want to try it.
I was in Finland and I there was like yeah, it was like the water was probably like 1 degree Celsius, so that's what 34 Fahrenheit or something. Um, that was cold. That was really, really cold. Uh, and then yeah, I I I want to do. I wish I had like somewhere that I could do it daily. Um, I mean, you can, but it's very time consuming for me now to do it. Uh, like a 5 minute cold plunge would take me like about an hour to get there. Well, not to get there, but like let's say 20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. Like, yeah, that's a big time consumption if you would do it on a daily basis. But maybe they're now making these things that you can buy and put in your house or like in your garden, and you can keep them at like, I think, what is that, like 38, 40 Fahrenheit year round. But yeah, I'll see.
Yeah, I
That's a
want
bit of
one
an
of the
investment, but
Yeah, I need one. I need to get one of those things so bad. That'll be so nice. I'm excited to
yeah.
to do that. It's one of those things that's like farther off that I'm just like I'm excited for that. So, yeah,
Would you
definitely.
take cold showers or?
I've been taking cold showers the last 5 years. So I started them and yeah, like right before college. I saw this video from Thomas Frank and it's like this will teach you a lot about self-discipline. I was like, bet I'll do it. And yeah, so I now do cold showers every morning and then I do hot showers at night because those help you relax. And granted, the showers here, like sometimes the cold shower isn't that cold, so it's not always that cold, but I have grown a lot and learned a lot from them just about kind of what we've been talking about. Just like letting yourself just kind of feel what you need to feel and learn from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's like you surrender to that unpleasant moment, and then I mean, you deal with it. And that's the same with let's say a negative thought or yeah. I mean, you can engage with it and you can sit in it for days, weeks, months, and or you just let it go and be and look, what we were talking about before, look for something else. Look for the opposite and you will find it. I mean, go out there, find hate, and you don't even have to go around the corner and you found it. Go find love and you'll find love. Go to the supermarket, find hate. You'll be fighting with the lady at the cash register. Find love, and you'll be smiling, and you have a nice conversation. And that's really like, uh, it is that simple. But
Yeah.
there's just people, they go out on the road and they're just in a rage the moment they sit behind their car, behind their wheel, and everyone needs to move out of their way. And like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. There's I'm always trying to like expose myself to different ideas and different books and stuff because you never know like what could like hit you. Even something from like a fiction book or something could really hit you. And there's like this 3 word phrase you can tell yourself to kind of help with reorienting yourself within these kind of moments. You just say like, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know everything, and maybe you're
Mhm.
not complete. Maybe you're not like completely wrong, but you definitely don't have all of the facts and the understanding and everything like that. And for me, I just have so much compassion on past Dallin because I was sometimes like kind of shoveling my uniqueness under the rug a little bit, like being frustrated, like trying to be like, everybody else, or just not listening as much to the deeper parts of myself. And now I'm like, well, now we're celebrating all this stuff and life feels so much more joyful and real, and I'm feel like more like myself than ever before, in a lot of respects. And it's like that's beautiful, but I'm only learning more about myself as I'm spending time in that truth instead of lies about like not enough, blah 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 blah.
Absolutely. And this other thing is like, when you like, what the right and wrong story, or the opinion, I'm right, he or she is wrong. If in that moment, you can look for the other person to be at least 10% right, then it's like from their point of view, they're 100% right, and I am 100% right. So who's right here? What is the truth? And one of the things, one of the values that I have is like, like full diversity, full inclusivity, no one left behind. So then I was listening to this podcast of this quite right wing guy, and I'm more oriented on the left, and I was looking for the opinions, it's like anti-democratic, pro this, pro that, and and against this and against that. And I was like, what are you doing? One the value is like inclusivity and diversity, no one left behind. So why do you like throw this guy off the truck or whatever? He's not okay. I'm inclusive and diverse, but only for these like people, but not him. It's like, of course, I mean, I don't have to agree with him, and I don't have to I can listen to what I want to listen. But if this is like my version of inclusivity and diversity, I'm just really not, I'm really segregating, or just as guilty on the polarization that I accuse them of. It's like it is like so insane. And then I'm so righteous about it in a way, where it was really like an eye opening for me. It's like, okay, it's like, yeah, this means that you 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 have to listen to them. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them, but by shutting them out or like writing them off is really not, um, yeah, what I stand for, you know. Because as you say, what do I know? What is my truth? What am I so righteous about? Um, it's really, I mean, it's really nice if you then can really be in that space, uh, where you can talk to these people, and you can be with these people, and you can be with each other. They can. It's not only I'm from this moral high ground that, oh, I can be with them. No, they can really be with me as well. um, and that's, if you look for that, that's possible. If I look, we're so opposites of the world, or like of the spectrum, or whatever you want to call it, then yeah, okay, then there's never going to be any recognition, understanding, loving, caring. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you think of like when you are a foreigner and you go to a place that you haven't really been before, and you can look at them and be like, oh man, American or whatever, and be like, that guy has all these problems. I don't even have to tell you anything else. We don't even have to talk to him. And it's sort of like what you're talking about with the lady with having all these labels on that job or that boss before she even met him. It's like you have no idea. And so when you give them that chance to like start speaking and sharing, like maybe there's some interests that line up, like you like basketball, they like basketball, and it's cool. And I think it is a real like step into darkness, and that's something I really admire about you, boss, is like you learning English and taking that step, so you're able to resonate and to talk with people. Like you're on this podcast, and you speak Dutch and you're learning Arabic, which is super cool. But like you doing that opens you up to all these different audiences, and resonating, empathizing with people. And yeah, I'm hoping to do some travel. Hopefully next time we talk, I'll have done some more extensive travel, because I've done more than I have, but I'm like, I just getting started. I really want to do some like longer, deeper travel. But it kind of reminds me of that, because it is a vulnerable spot, but vulnerability is where so much joy is, and so much understanding, and so much potential for connection is. And vulnerability opens you up to so many good things.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't agree more. And if you like to travel, go for it. That's the only way you will experience it. Some people don't, and that's fine too. Uh, but if that's what you desire, you're only gonna find out by doing it. That I mean, it reminds me of like I took a sabbatical and I went to live in Rio for 6 months. And when I shared that with people, like I got the reactions I got was like, it's like, where's this coming from? You're gonna be killed. You're gonna be killed. It's so dangerous. You're gonna be killed. And I'm like, what? I started to doubt myself. It's like, what did I get myself into? Is it really like that dangerous, or is it really like that crazy out there? Uh, and I went and I had an amazing time. It was really, really, really cool. And I had I listened to these people, um, yeah, I would not have had that experience. Uh, and then also like now, it's like 50 years later. It's like, okay, it's like who do you know that got killed in Rio? It's like no one. It's like, who do you know that got killed here? It's like no one. You know, it's very, very rare that you might know someone that you know that gets killed. I don't want to I don't want to, for those that had that happen to them. I mean, awful. And uh, that's not what that's not what I want. I don't want to absolutely not diminish that at all in any sense. But a lot of people have never experienced these kind of things and live in a space that's a real thing for them. And that's with this, but with many, many other things, um, and with fears, that they've never experienced, or not even people that they know have experienced. And that's just, yeah, it's just, how do I say that? It robs you from so many opportunities, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a good way to put a hat on our conversation and everything, and call it a day for now. But I love this, that we're able to you know, help ourselves grow and invest in ourselves, and help ourselves change how much emotional and mental wealth we have from these tiny decisions, these tiny little dial switches. Like, you know what, I'm not gonna listen to that today. And I'll turn this up instead. There's so much power with that. Is there anything else you'd say for anybody that maybe is struggling to step into a new unknown, or any of those other things? And I think we all know how to get a hold of you,
Yeah.
boslebesque.com, but you can share more about that as well.
Okay. I mean, yeah, the final thing I'll say is like, just get out there, just take one step at a time. And it's really that simple. Yeah, or I mean, yeah, it's that simple, but I know it's also that it can also be that hard, but it's just like, just allow yourself to make baby steps. Don't expect to be to make a 1 mile step or something. This is just not how it works. Um, and it is really about the journey and not the destination. Because but most of the time, by the time you're at your destination, you're like, what's next? So enjoy the journey.
Yeah, and you get to change how you see yourself along the way, and the journey can always shift and change, and how you see it can change, and that's the beautiful part is it's all changing. You can make these decisions. I mean, like I love like video games, so like you could be like, okay, I'm gonna be a warrior character, and then you start learning more about the warrior characters. Like, no, actually, I'm really interested in being like more of a mage healer kind of thing. It's like you can do that. And there's
Yeah,
such a beauty to that, and you can get in touch with people like you to help you with doing that. And you're still doing the free first consultation, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, so people
Definitely.
take advantage of that. If any of this is resonating, like seriously, I have done these kind of things where like you just talk with the person just the first call, and you can just get so much value out of that first call. And that's what Boss is here to do, is just to serve and just to hear people out. So if you need to be heard, or you need your thoughts a little bit, maybe you need to be turned around, or whatever, if there's any of this resonate, reach out to Boss for sure.
Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah. Well, look forward to having you on again, boss. I'm not sure when that will be, but just keep doing your thing, and I'll look forward to chatting with you down the road, and maybe I'll come see you one of these days. You never know.
Oh, you're very welcome. Please do.
That'd be super fun.